How to double and triple your revenue without adding more leads. All right, guys, today we're going to break down something that every single business owner needs to understand is you don't need more leads to grow your revenue. In fact, most businesses could actually double or triple their monthly sales just by fixing what we call sales math. But before we get into that, what is going on, guys? My name is John Magner. I've built and scaled multiple B2B sales teams to multiple six figures a month in the service-based and SaaS industries. And today I'm going to be breaking down something very important, which is how to actually double your business without having to spend more money on ads or going out and getting more leads. So the biggest myth is that we need more leads. 90% of business owners think they have a lead problem. When I audit their backend sales systems, here's what I always find. There's a low show rate, there's a low contact rate, there's a weak follow-up, poor sales behavior, there's an unorganized pipeline, and there's absolutely no accountability. So they're pouring in new leads into a system that leaks everywhere. And if you're spending, $2, $3, maybe even $10,000 a month, it doesn't matter how much you spend on ads, you're going to get the same results every single month. And ultimately, the more you spend on ads, the more you're going to lose until you fix these systems. And there are really only 4 levers that control revenue: contact rate, show rate, close rate, and LTV, lifetime value of the customer. If you can improve each of these even by 5 to 10%, your revenue doesn't go up 5 to 10%. It always compounds a lot further than that. So let me show you something that business owners never realize. If you increase contact rate by 10%, you increase show rate by 10%, increase your close rate by 10%, and increase your retention by 10%, your revenue doesn't go up by 40%. It goes up over 70 to 100%, just depending on your model. And this is why I say you don't need more leads. You just need a tighter system. Ultimately, you just need to fix what you already have right now. And here is where the math breaks. These are the 4 places that most companies lose revenue without even knowing. Number 1 is contact rate. You paid for the lead, but never even reached them. That's instant money left on the table. A lot of times I see leads come in, maybe setters call them once or twice, but after that, there's nothing else because they're focusing on new leads. You have to make most on the money that you already spent. Number 2 is the show rate. Your prospects aren't showing up because your pre-call systems suck. There's no reminders, no automation, no nurture. There's no authority building. And ultimately, prospects have no reason to show up to the call because there's no value built around the call. They essentially just see it as a 30-minute time block that's taking away from their day. So that's why your show rate is low. Number 3 is close rate. You have closers, but not a closing system. And every single rep pitches differently. The performance is always going to be inconsistent. If every single rep goes about selling in their own way, well, yes, that can be true. If they're not going about the same framework, the same discovery process, the same pitch, the same closing, it's just not going to work because you can't figure out what truly is broken and what's working when you have 5 reps all moving in different directions. Every single rep needs to be moving in unison. And lastly is LTV, because retention is everything. Your clients stay 2 months when they could have stayed for 12. This one metric alone can 5x your company. If you can figure out ways to simply just keep your customers on for longer, even increasing it by 2 months, if you have 20 more clients, that is almost 10xing your business. You got to figure out a way to keep your clients on for way longer. And this is going to be one of the simplest tricks. And ultimately, the fix is very simple. Here's the process that I typically run with companies just to double their revenue. Number 1, you got to pull the last 90 days of metrics. You got to figure out everything. Take a look at all the numbers from how much you're spending on ads, how many leads are coming in, the lead to booking rate, contact rate, show rate, close rate, cash collector rate, all those numbers. Number 2, find your bottleneck. Once you figure out that, you're going to look at Is it contact rate? Is it show rate? Is it retention? All that stuff. Number 3, once you figure out that one thing is problematic, you want to fix one lever at a time. Focus the next 2 weeks. If it's show rate, focus on show rate for the next 2 weeks. You don't have to take a look at the numbers and make a whole bunch of changes to all the other problems. You need to focus on one problem at a time, hammer it in their head. So if show rate is at a 20%, you need to install better systems to increase show rate, build more value around the call, have a better follow-up system from the setting call to the closing call. Have the setters build more value and send more testimonials. Maybe you can build out, SMS and email automation to where before the call, not only is it giving them alerts and reminders for their call, but it's sending them valuable videos, it's sending them testimonials, it's sending them pre-call videos, all this stuff. Just focus on the first 2 weeks. Once that gets improved, take a look at the next metric. If the next metric is close rate, okay, work with your closers and fix the close rate. It's very, very simple. And then measure the new baseline and then repeat. And this is how real companies are able to scale predictable revenue. So before you go out and spend another $10,000 on ads, fix everything from the bottom up. If you have a weak foundation, spending another $10,000 more on ads is ultimately just going to lose you more money. And you guys got to stop looking for revenue numbers. And what I mean by this is a lot of business owners always say, guys, we need to push to $500K a month if we're at $300,000 a month. But you got to look at it from the bottom down. It sounds so cliche, but you can hit $500,000 a month just by spending more money on ads. But if the bottom is messed up, if you're having issues with the show rate, you're ultimately not making that much more money because you're having to spend a lot more money on ads. And yeah, ultimately your margins are all messed up. So look at the bottom down, say, okay, well, it's very simple. If we take our show rate from 20% to 70%, we can add another $30,000 to our bottom line. Focus on that for the first 15 days, then move on to the next. And look, guys, this is exactly what we install inside the 10-day sales infrastructure system. If you want systems that compound revenue without spending more on ads, DM me Scale, and we will go from there. Thanks, guys.